The stars shone like scattered diamonds over the bustling orbit of the neutral planet, Virelia. In the vast space station above its surface, ships from across the galaxy gathered for one event that drew attention like a supernova, the Galactic Auction. Ships of every size and shape floated in docking bays, each waiting for someone to claim them. Some were sleek cargo freighters, others were ancient relics of wars long past. But among them, one ship stood out. It was massive, angular, and unlike anything most species had ever seen. Its hull was black with sharp, aggressive edges, and hints of red shimmered in its seams. The ship had no name displayed, no flashy markings, and yet its presence filled the bay with tension. Even the air inside the auction station seemed to hold its breath. The crowd of alien buyers circled the ship, murmuring in their many languages. Tentacles pointed, claws tapped, eyes glinted, but each reaction carried the same hesitation, fear, confusion, and doubt. The auctioneer, a tall, three-eyed being with a booming voice, stepped forward. "Lot 237, he announced. "A vessel of great power, and perhaps great risk. Examine her, but proceed with caution." Aliens approached, scanning the ship with their tools. The ship hummed softly as if aware of their gaze. A few tried to open compartments, checking weapon systems. Others simply walked around, shaking their heads. "This vessel, it's too unpredictable," one alien said, its voice sharp like metal scraping metal. "Too aggressive," another hissed. "No sane crew would dare pilot her." A murmur ran through the crowd. The auctioneer's voice cut through it, growing slightly nervous. "The bid opens at 10 million credits. Do I have a bid?" Silence. The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. None stepped forward. Finally, one wealthy merchant shook his head and left. Another followed. The ship remained unclaimed. In the crowd, a young human watched quietly. His name was Eli, barely 20, with messy brown hair and bright green eyes that reflected the ship's gleam. Unlike the aliens, Eli did not see danger or risk. He saw potential. Most humans had been considered minor players in galactic society, known for their resourcefulness but dismissed as weak. Eli had grown up on the edge of human space, where survival demanded creativity, not brute strength. He had learned to fix ships when others gave up, to find solutions that no one else could see. Eli leaned forward, his eyes tracing every curve of the ship's hull. "She's perfect," he whispered under his breath. "She just needs the right touch." He knew the odds were against him. Humans rarely attended auctions of this scale, and he had very few credits. Yet he could not ignore the feeling in his chest, the pull of the ship. It was as if it called to him, waiting for someone who understood it. When the final call for bids came, the aliens had all retreated, dismissing the vessel as too dangerous. Eli took a deep breath. He raised his hand, then spoke loudly, surprising the auctioneer. 10 million won, he said. His voice was calm but firm. The auctioneer's three eyes widened. "A human bid? For this vessel? Are you aware of what you are?" "I am," Eli interrupted. "I know exactly what I'm getting." The crowd laughed, or the closest thing to laughter among alien species. Whispers spread like wildfire. A human, barely more than a boy, was bidding on a warship that even the richest and most experienced buyers had rejected. The auctioneer hesitated. "Very well. 10 million won is the bid. Do I have 10 million too?" Silence. Then, after what seemed like an eternity, the auctioneer slammed his clawed hand down. "Sold it to the human." Eli's heart raced. He had done it. Against all odds, he had claimed the ship. The auction hall erupted into shocked murmurs. The aliens could not believe it. A human had taken what they considered impossible. As he led the way to claim the vessel, Eli's mind raced. He imagined what he could do, how he could repair and improve it. He had spent years working on human ships, making old freighters faster and stronger. But this was a different challenge entirely. The ship's interior was dark, the air still and cold. Eli's boots echoed on the metal floor as he stepped aboard. He ran his hands along the console, feeling the smooth metal and the faint vibration beneath. The systems were partially offline, but he could sense the potential. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. Eli spent the next several hours examining the ship. The engines were massive, but the power conduits were poorly connected. The weapon systems were outdated, and the hull, though strong, had stress cracks in hidden areas. A lesser engineer might have seen only flaws, but Eli saw possibilities. Every problem was a chance to improve, to create something no alien could imagine. He checked the navigation systems, recalibrated sensors, and patched up the hull with temporary reinforcements. Slowly, the ship began to respond to his touch. Lights flickered on, humming softly. The ship seemed alive, almost aware of its new master. Eli smiled. Outside, the auction hall emptied. The aliens had gone back to their own ships, still shaking their heads in disbelief. "Humans," one of them muttered. "They think they can do everything." Eli ignored the whispers. He did not care what they thought. He had a vision, and he would see it through. By the time the station's artificial night fell, Eli had completed the initial repairs. The ship's engines purred like a living creature. It was ready for more work, more testing, and soon, flight. He stepped out onto the docking bay, looking up at the stars. For a moment, the galaxy seemed endless, full of possibilities. Humans had always been underestimated, dismissed as weak or ordinary. But Eli knew the truth. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were clever. Humans could do what others thought impossible. "This is going to be fun," he said, eyes shining with determination. A small group of alien engineers from the auction station approached him cautiously. One, a tall being with scales and 6 eyes, spoke first. You cannot control that ship," it said. "Even the best pilots from multiple species failed." "Why do you think you can?" Eli smiled, a slow, confident smile. "Because I don't see problems the way you do. I see solutions." The alien huffed, clearly unimpressed, but Eli's words had weight. Even if they did not believe him, the ship now had a human at its helm. That alone was enough to change everything. As the docking bay doors closed and the stars stretched into infinity, Eli climbed back aboard. He ran his hands over the controls again, memorizing every lever, every panel. This ship was more than just metal and engines. It was a puzzle, waiting for him to solve it. And Eli loved puzzles. Night passed slowly, filled with the quiet hum of the ship and Eli's meticulous work. By morning, the vessel was ready for its first trial beyond the station. Not a test of speed or firepower yet, just a simple flight to ensure the systems were stable. Eli's heart raced as he activated the engines. The ship vibrated under him, alive and responsive. With a careful hand, he guided it out of the docking bay. The stars were bright against the black void, and the silence of space was complete. For the first time, the ship moved as it had been meant to move. Sleek, swift, and powerful, it cut through space like a predator. Eli grinned. The galaxy had rejected this ship, called it dangerous, called it unpredictable. But under a human's touch, it was alive again. And this was only the beginning. Eli leaned back in the pilot's chair, eyes fixed on the stars. The humans of old had dreamed of space, but few had dared to take it by force or skill. Now, with this ship, he would show the galaxy that humans were more than clever. They were unstoppable. And somewhere in the shadows of distant star systems, whispers began to spread. A human had claimed the rejected warship. A human would make it legendary. Eli guided the rejected warship away from the bustling auction station and into the quiet expanse of space. The stars stretched endlessly around him, cold and distant, but inside the ship, warmth hummed as the engine stabilized. It was far from perfect. Systems needed repair. Weapons were offline, and the hull, though strong, showed faint cracks under diagnostic scans. Yet to Eli, it was not a problem. It was an opportunity. He had spent years fixing old human freighters on his home colony, but this was different. This was a warship designed for speed, stealth, and aggression. Alien engineers had called it too unpredictable, but Eli could already see the hidden patterns in its design. He knew that a human mind could see possibilities no alien would consider. Eli started with the engines. The power conduits were outdated, and energy leaked at several points. He carefully rerouted lines, reinforced the conduits with a mix of human alloys, and adjusted the thrusters for maximum responsiveness. Every small adjustment made the ship hum stronger, as if it understood that someone who cared had taken charge. Next, he moved to the navigation system. Alien designs were precise but rigid. They relied on complex calculations that took time, which slowed decision-making in battle. Eli rewrote the software, simplifying controls while adding human intuition. The system now responded to instinct as much as to logic, allowing the ship to move unpredictably, like a predator in space. Hours passed, and Eli worked without pause. He drank little, ate little, and barely noticed the slow rotation of the stars outside. Finally, he reached the weapons systems. Most aliens would have focused on power and range, but Eli thought differently. He integrated targeting systems with the ship's sensors, so weapons could anticipate enemy movements. Then he added small modifications to allow the ship to fire multiple types of projectiles at once, something no alien engineer had considered practical. By the time Eli paused, the ship looked almost new, but it was far better than when he had found it. Every system had been improved, every flaw turned into a strength. And yet the true test was not on paper. It was in the ship's reaction to him. He climbed into the cockpit and activated the main controls. The ship vibrated lightly, almost as if greeting him. The displays lit up, showing fully functional engines, shields, and weapons. Eli smiled. This was no longer a rejected warship. It was something new, something dangerous, something human. Eli decided it was time for a trial run. He left the hidden system where he had repaired the ship and ventured into open space. At first, he practiced basic maneuvers, testing speed, agility, and responsiveness. The ship moved like liquid, slicing through the void with precision. When he executed a sharp turn, the ship responded instantly, hugging the curve of space as if it were alive. A distant asteroid belt provided the perfect obstacle course. Eli guided the ship through narrow gaps, weaving between massive rocks that could crush lesser vessels. The warship dodged every obstacle effortlessly. Eli laughed quietly to himself. They said you were unpredictable, but you just needed someone who understood you. After several hours, Eli decided to test the ship's combat capabilities. He activated the targeting systems and fired a series of controlled energy blasts at floating debris. The weapons responded perfectly, adjusting trajectory and power automatically. Each shot hit its mark with precision. Eli realized that he had transformed the rejected ship into a weapon of elegance and efficiency, but the work was far from over. Eli knew that the galaxy would not wait. Rumors of a human reclaiming a rejected warship were already spreading, and soon curious or hostile eyes would be watching. He needed the ship to be more than fast and powerful. It needed defenses that could survive any encounter. He reinforced the hull with advanced human alloys, making it lighter yet stronger. Shields were recalibrated to absorb multiple types of energy without overloading. Even life support was upgraded, allowing the crew to survive extreme conditions in deep space. Eli worked tirelessly, combining human innovation with the ship's alien design. Late into the artificial night, as the stars glimmered coldly outside, Eli paused and looked around the ship. Every panel, every lever, every console reflected human thought and skill. What had been rejected was now exceptional. The ship no longer belonged to the auction house, the aliens, or the galaxy. It belonged to him, and it would carry the mark of humanity everywhere it went. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement. A small patrol vessel was approaching. Eli froze for a moment. He had not expected company so soon. The patrol ship belonged to the auction station, likely checking on the status of the unclaimed lot. Eli smiled. This was perfect. Time to see if my work is ready for action, he said. He maneuvered the warship with a few quick adjustments. The patrol vessel approached, scanning aggressively, probably assuming the human was lost or testing the limits of the ship. But Eli had no intention of hiding. He wanted to understand the ship's real capabilities. With a series of swift, precise movements, he outmaneuvered the patrol vessel. The ship twisted, flipped, and accelerated in ways that alien engineers had dismissed as dangerous. The patrol ship struggled to keep up, scanning frantically as if unsure what it was witnessing. Eli fired a warning blast, a controlled shot that illuminated the patrol vessel but caused no damage. The vessel immediately backed away, retreating to warn the station. Eli chuckled. "You'll tell them," he whispered. "You'll tell them humans are more than they expect." The incident confirmed what Eli had suspected. The ship responded to human intuition, not rigid alien logic. Its systems were unpredictable to alien eyes, but perfectly controlled by someone who understood creativity and adaptation. After the patrol vessel left, Eli took a moment to relax. He allowed himself a small smile, feeling a sense of pride that he rarely experienced. The work had been grueling, the risks immense, but he had succeeded. He had taken a rejected, feared ship and made it something entirely new. Still, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was large, and human ingenuity alone would soon be tested by those who did not understand it. Other species might try to steal, attack, or sabotage him, yet Eli was not afraid. He had faith in his skill, in the human mind, and in the ship itself. Together, they were unstoppable. As he prepared for further tests, Eli examined the ship's internal systems once more. He noticed minor flaws, tiny misalignments, potential weak spots, but instead of discouraging him, they excited him. Every challenge was an opportunity to innovate, to create solutions that no alien mind could conceive. He set a new plan: test the ship in various environments, asteroid fields, deep gravity wells, even near active star systems. Each test would improve both the ship and his understanding of it. He would learn its strengths, its weaknesses, and how to push it beyond anything the galaxy had seen. Eli looked out at the stars again. A human had claimed a ship the galaxy had rejected. A human had restored it, made it stronger, faster, and more deadly. But most importantly, a human had imbued it with ingenuity, creativity, and vision. The warship, once dismissed as too aggressive, now thrummed with energy, ready to prove itself. And Eli, small but determined, was ready to guide it. He knew that what the galaxy had rejected was exactly what humanity needed: a chance to show that humans could transform the impossible into reality. And somewhere, in distant systems far beyond the auction station, rumors began to spread. "A human," the whispers said. "A human is rebuilding the rejected warship. No one knows what will happen next." Eli smiled, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. He did not need to know the future. He had the ship, his skill, and the drive to make the impossible happen. The galaxy had rejected it, but humans would not. Not now, not ever. With a deep breath, Eli activated the engines fully, sending the warship into a high-speed flight across the starfield. The ship responded perfectly, sleek and precise like a creature born for space. Eli laughed softly, feeling the thrill of creation and control. "This is only the start," he said. "The galaxy hasn't seen anything yet." The rejected warship under the hands of a young human had become something extraordinary, and together, Eli and his ship were about to change the way the galaxy saw humanity forever. Eli's hands rested lightly on the controls as the warship cut through the empty black of space. Stars streaked past as he pushed the engines to test speed and maneuverability. The ship hummed under him, responding perfectly to each adjustment. It was fast, powerful, and precise. Everything the auction house and the alien buyers had said it could never be. Yet Eli knew that speed and power alone were not enough. To truly understand the ship, he needed to test its abilities in a real challenge. He scanned the sector ahead and saw what he had been hoping for: a patrol convoy from a nearby system. Small, lightly armed vessels moving together, confident and unsuspecting. To most species, they were just routine traffic, but to Eli, they were the perfect test. He leaned back slightly in his seat, eyes bright with anticipation. "Time to see what you can really do," he whispered to the ship. Eli began with simple maneuvers. He darted toward the convoy, then veered sharply to the left, the ship twisting in ways that seemed impossible to observers. The patrol vessels scrambled, trying to follow, but their reactions were slow and predictable. Eli smiled, feeling the thrill of control. This was more than flying, it was a dance, and he led. Next, he tested the weapons. The targeting system he had installed responded instantly, locking onto each patrol ship with precise calculations. Small energy pulses shot from the ship, disabling the engines of one vessel without causing permanent damage. The others tried to counterattack, but Eli's ship moved too quickly, dodging every shot. It was the first time Eli truly understood the bond between human and ship. The warship did not just follow commands, it seemed to anticipate his thoughts, adjusting to his instincts, reacting faster than logic alone could explain. Every twist, turn, and acceleration flowed naturally, almost as if the ship had been waiting for a human like him all along. The patrol vessels regrouped and launched a coordinated attack. Energy blasts streaked through space, some dangerously close. Eli's pulse quickened, but he remained calm. He knew the ship, trusted it, and relied on his own creativity. He executed a series of unpredictable maneuvers, diving toward the edge of an asteroid field, weaving between massive rocks with the patrol ships in pursuit. The convoy hesitated, uncertain if they could match the ship's speed and agility. Eli fired another series of shots, disabling 2 more vessels. The remaining ships attempted to flee, but the warship was faster, cutting off escape routes and forcing them to surrender. Eli leaned back, breathing heavily but smiling. "Not bad," he said quietly. "You're better than I imagined." For the first time, he realized what humans had been underestimated for. Aliens often relied on rules, calculations, and predictable patterns. Humans, on the other hand, could adapt, improvise, and think creatively in ways that no alien design could fully anticipate. And this ship, once rejected as too aggressive, now showcased human ingenuity perfectly. Word of Eli's exploits spread faster than he could have imagined. By the time he returned to the hidden sector near his shipyard, rumors of a human mastering a rejected warship had reached nearby trading routes. Curious merchants, scouts, and even military vessels began watching from a distance, eager to see what a human could do with a ship that had been deemed uncontrollable. Eli did not seek attention, but he did not hide either. He continued testing the ship, venturing into asteroid belts, debris fields, and regions of intense gravitational interference. Each test revealed new capabilities. The ship could accelerate and decelerate faster than any known vessel. Its shields could withstand multiple energy blasts, and its targeting system could adapt to moving targets almost instinctively. During one particularly challenging run through a dense asteroid field, Eli discovered something unexpected. The ship's engines, when pushed to maximum output while performing sharp twists and flips, created a feedback loop that increased maneuverability even further. It was a feature alien engineers had dismissed as dangerous, but Eli saw it as an advantage. By combining intuition and calculation, he could move the ship in ways no one else could anticipate. Hours passed like minutes as Eli continued his tests. He began experimenting with the ship's stealth capabilities, engaging sensors and cloaking mechanisms to remain invisible to distant observers. He realized that with practice he could approach enemy fleets undetected, strike quickly, and escape before anyone could respond. The possibilities were endless. Yet Eli knew that skill alone would not be enough in a real battle. He needed to understand how to outthink opponents, how to anticipate their reactions. Humans were clever, but the galaxy was full of species that relied on logic, numbers, and brute force. Eli had to combine his creativity with strategy to make the ship truly unbeatable. The opportunity came sooner than expected. While navigating near a dense asteroid belt, Eli detected an unfamiliar signal. A small alien pirate gang had picked up the rumors of a human and the mysterious warship. They assumed it would be easy prey, a single human against a few older ships. Eli did not panic. He had prepared for this. Activating the ship's weapon systems, he observed the incoming ships carefully. They were agile but predictable, relying on patterns that he had learned to exploit. With a combination of precise targeting, rapid maneuvers, and clever use of the asteroid field for cover, he engaged the pirates. The battle was brief, but intense. Energy blasts lit up the void. Ships collided with floating debris, and the human warship moved with unmatched precision. Eli anticipated every attack, using the ship's speed and agility to outmaneuver the pirates. Within minutes, all the enemy ships were disabled or forced to retreat. Not a single crew member was harmed, but the message was clear. Humans with their ingenuity could dominate the battlefield. Eli exhaled slowly, leaning back in the cockpit. The adrenaline faded, leaving a sense of pride and accomplishment. This was more than a victory. It was proof. Humans, often underestimated, could take what others rejected and make it stronger, faster, and smarter. As he surveyed the aftermath, Eli noticed something. The ship, once feared and dismissed, seemed almost alive now. Its engines thrummed, its shields shimmered with renewed energy, and its sensors scanned the area with an awareness that felt almost intelligent. Eli realized that he had not just repaired the vessel, he had awakened it. But Eli also knew the galaxy would not let this go unnoticed. Stories of a human mastering a rejected warship would spread quickly, reaching ears that might not welcome it. Some species would be curious, others envious, and some hostile. Eli would have to be ready for both admiration and danger. Returning to his hidden shipyard, Eli began analyzing the data from the first combat tests. He noted where the ship had excelled, where minor adjustments were needed, and how to optimize it further. Every flaw was a chance to improve, every victory a lesson for the next challenge. Night passed quietly in the shipyard. The stars outside remained still, indifferent to the small human and his extraordinary ship. Yet Eli felt a growing sense of purpose. This was not just about repairing a rejected warship. It was about showing the galaxy what humans could do when they combined ingenuity, courage, and determination. The next morning, Eli prepared for a new series of tests. He planned to push the ship further than ever before. High-speed maneuvers, complex combat scenarios, and simulated attacks by multiple opponents. Each test would teach him more about the ship, about strategy, and about human potential. Eli's green eyes shone as he activated the engines. The warship responded instantly, sleek and alive. For the first time, he felt the true partnership between human and machine. This was not just a vessel to command. It was an extension of his mind, capable of executing strategies he could imagine but aliens could never predict. He thought of the auction, the alien buyers who had dismissed the ship as dangerous and unpredictable. He smiled. They had been wrong. The ship was aggressive, yes, but in the right hands it was unstoppable. And humans, often underestimated, were more than capable of taking what others rejected and making it extraordinary. Eli took one final look at the stars ahead. The galaxy was vast, full of opportunities, challenges, and dangers. But with this ship, he could face any threat, explore any unknown, and prove that humans were a force to be reckoned with. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy has no idea what's coming." The warship thrummed under his hands as if agreeing. Together, human and machine were ready. And the first test had shown that no species could ignore them. Not for long. News of the human and the revived warship spread faster than Eli had anticipated. Traders, scouts, and curious onlookers whispered tales of a human controlling a vessel the galaxy had rejected. Some marveled at the ingenuity. Others questioned how a species often dismissed as weak could master such a ship. But one thing became clear. Humans were no longer a secret in galactic space. Eli remained focused on the ship, refusing to be distracted by the rumors. There was work to be done, upgrades to complete, tests to run, and skills to refine. He spent hours enhancing the ship's defensive systems, making the shields adaptive, able to disperse energy from multiple attacks simultaneously. He improved the engines, allowing the vessel to make sudden bursts of speed in any direction, a trick that could outmaneuver even the fastest alien ships. Yet Eli knew that skill alone would not win attention. It was action that would truly matter. He decided to test the ship in scenarios that would challenge his strategic thinking. He plotted courses through asteroid fields, dense debris zones, and gravitational anomalies. Each test forced him to anticipate obstacles, adjust tactics, and respond instinctively. One day, as he maneuvered through a dense asteroid belt, sensors picked up a fleet approaching from several systems away. Eli paused, analyzing the data. It was a group of rival alien engineers who had heard the rumors and wanted to challenge him. They believed the human ship was flawed, that no human could truly control such a vessel. Eli smiled. This was exactly what he had been waiting for. The rival engineers sent a message through standard channels. "We challenge you. Prove your mastery or admit defeat." Eli accepted. He plotted a course to a remote system for the challenge, a neutral zone far from populated sectors. As he approached, the rival fleet came into view, sleek, fast, and heavily armed. They moved with precision, confident that experience and technology would overwhelm a human pilot. The first encounter began with testing maneuvers. The rival ships tried to predict his actions, but Eli was unpredictable. He used the ship's unique agility, weaving between asteroids and using the gravitational pull of nearby planets to alter trajectories in ways the alien engineers did not expect. The fleet hesitated, struggling to adjust to a style of movement they had never seen. Eli fired the ship's weapons in calculated bursts, disabling sensors and engines without causing permanent harm. The rivals attempted counterattacks, but each move was anticipated and countered with instinctive precision. The human ship seemed to anticipate his opponent's strategy, making it appear almost alive. Hours passed in a tense ballet of ships, engines thrumming and energy beams lighting up the void. The rivals began to falter, their confidence shaken by the humans' creativity. Eli's strategy was simple but effective. Use the ship's speed, maneuverability, and human intuition to create openings that no algorithm or prediction could foresee. Finally, the rivals conceded. Retreating from the field with a mix of frustration and awe, Eli lowered the ship's shields, allowing the humans and aliens alike to see that the vessel was unscathed. The message was clear. The human had not only survived but had dominated the encounter without unnecessary destruction. The news spread quickly. Across multiple star systems, whispers grew into stories. Traders told tales of a human who could control a rejected warship better than the galaxy's best pilots. Scientists and engineers debated how a human could achieve such mastery. Military leaders took note, realizing that humans were not just clever. They were a force that could change the balance of power. Eli, however, remained grounded. He knew that fame could be dangerous. Jealousy and fear often led to conflict in the galaxy. Rival species might attempt to sabotage him, steal the ship, or challenge him in ways that went beyond testing skill. He spent days reinforcing the ship, upgrading shields, and refining systems to be prepared for any challenge. During this period, Eli also began to experiment with non-combat applications. He improved the ship's sensors to detect hidden objects, developed stealth modes to move undetected, and optimized life support to sustain the crew for long-duration missions. Every modification reflected human ingenuity, a balance of practicality, creativity, and adaptability that no alien engineer could replicate. One afternoon, as Eli ran a simulation, he detected an unfamiliar signal. It was a communication from a distant council of alien engineers, inviting him to demonstrate the ship's capabilities in a neutral arena. They wanted proof that a human could truly command such a vessel. Eli accepted. He plotted a course to the arena, knowing that this would be an opportunity to cement humans' reputation across the galaxy. The arena was massive, floating in a remote system, designed to test ships in complex scenarios: combat, navigation, and strategy. Aliens from multiple species watched from observation decks, eager to see the human in action. The demonstration began with navigation tests. Eli guided the ship through obstacle courses filled with moving asteroids, energy barriers, and shifting gravity wells. Each maneuver pushed the ship to its limits, yet it performed flawlessly. Observers gasped as the vessel twisted, accelerated, and dodged with precision that no alien ship could match. Next came simulated combat. Automated drones attacked from multiple directions, firing energy pulses and attempting to flank the human-controlled ship. Eli remained calm, coordinating weapons and maneuvers simultaneously. He used the ship's agility to outmaneuver the drones, disabling them efficiently while conserving energy. The aliens watched in stunned silence, unable to comprehend how one human could control such a complex system with ease. Finally, the challenge concluded with a test of strategy. The simulation introduced unpredictable variables, environmental hazards, unexpected attacks, and changing objectives. Eli's human intuition allowed him to adapt instantly, turning potential threats into opportunities. He achieved objectives faster than expected, with minimal energy consumption and no unnecessary damage. By the end of the demonstration, the crowd erupted in admiration. Aliens who had doubted him now acknowledged that humans were capable of brilliance. Engineers approached Eli asking questions about his modifications, eager to understand how a single human could achieve what entire teams of aliens could not. Eli smiled politely, answering questions without revealing all his secrets. He knew that human strength lay not only in technology but in creativity, adaptability, and the ability to see solutions where others saw problems. After the demonstration, Eli took a moment to reflect. The warship, once rejected and feared, had become a symbol of human potential. It was proof that what others dismissed could be transformed into something extraordinary. And the galaxy was beginning to notice. Yet Eli also understood that attention brought danger. Rival species might attempt to challenge him again, this time with more cunning and resources. The warship was exceptional, but humans were not invincible. He needed to continue improving, learning, and innovating to stay ahead. As he prepared to leave the arena, Eli activated the ship's engines, gliding through the void with grace. The stars stretched endlessly around him, silent witnesses to human ingenuity. The galaxy had begun to see humans in a new light, not weak, not ordinary, but clever, resourceful, and capable of reshaping expectations. Eli looked at the ship, pride swelling in his chest. It was more than metal and energy. It was a partnership, a testament to what humans could accomplish. Together they had taken a rejected warship and made it a force to be reckoned with. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, "We're just getting started. The galaxy hasn't seen anything yet." The warship hummed in response, sleek, powerful, and ready. Human and machine were prepared for whatever came next, and the galaxy, watching from afar, was beginning to understand that humans could take the impossible and turn it into the extraordinary. The galaxy had begun to whisper the name of the human and his warship. Traders spoke in hushed tones, scientists debated the possibilities, and military leaders watched with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Across star systems, one truth became clear: humans could take the impossible and make it extraordinary. Eli did not chase fame, but he could not ignore the attention. Messages arrived from distant systems, some curious, some challenging, and some offering opportunities for alliances. Eli knew that the warship's true potential was not just in battle, it was in proving humanity's ingenuity to the galaxy. He spent days enhancing the vessel further. The shields were recalibrated to handle multiple simultaneous attacks. Engines were optimized for sudden bursts of speed, and sensors were upgraded to detect threats before they became visible. Every modification reflected human creativity, a combination of practicality and imagination that no alien engineer could fully replicate. Soon, a larger challenge appeared. A powerful alien fleet from a distant sector had heard the rumors and decided to test the human and his ship. This fleet was composed of elite ships, heavily armed and expertly piloted. They did not believe that a single human could command a warship so effectively. Eli analyzed their approach and smiled. "They think strength alone will win," he whispered. "Let's show them something they can't predict." He guided the ship with precision, using the lessons he had learned in earlier tests and challenges. The fleet attempted coordinated attacks, but Eli anticipated their strategies. He used the ship's unique agility to weave between attacks, exploiting gaps that others would never see. Energy blasts streaked past, some dangerously close, but the warship responded with instinctive precision. Eli fired in calculated bursts, disabling weapon systems on several ships while avoiding unnecessary damage. The fleet struggled to adapt, unprepared for a pilot who combined human intuition with advanced technology. In the midst of the battle, Eli executed maneuvers that no alien ship could replicate. He dived toward the edge of a star's gravity well, then used the pull to slingshot the ship in a new direction, flanking the enemy from an unexpected angle. One by one, enemy ships were forced to retreat or surrender. Not a single crew member of the opposing fleet was harmed. But the lesson was clear. Humans could turn the impossible into victory without needless destruction. As the dust of battle settled, Eli realized the significance of what had just happened. This was more than a victory. It was proof. Humans were not weak, not ordinary, and not to be underestimated. With ingenuity, courage, and determination, they could challenge even the most experienced fleets in the galaxy. News of the battle spread quickly. Across multiple systems, reports described the human who had taken a rejected warship and used it to defeat an entire fleet. Scientists marveled at the ship's design. Military leaders reconsidered their strategies, and traders eagerly sought contact with the human and his vessel. Eli had not only restored a ship, he had restored respect for humanity itself. Despite the attention, Eli remained focused. He knew that the galaxy was full of surprises and dangers. Rival fleets, ambitious pirates, and curious engineers would continue to test him. But he also knew that humans had a unique strength: the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to persevere where others failed. In the weeks that followed, Eli conducted further tests, exploring uncharted regions of space and refining his understanding of the ship. He discovered hidden features that he had not noticed before: secret compartments, backup systems, and redundancies that could be activated in emergencies. Every discovery reinforced his belief that the ship was not just powerful, but designed to grow with its pilot. Eli also began training a small crew of humans, teaching them the principles he had used to master the warship. They learned not only technical skills, but also the philosophy of human ingenuity, creativity, adaptability, and thinking beyond conventional limits. With each lesson, the crew became more capable, more confident, and more united. One day, a delegation from the Galactic Council arrived. They had watched Eli's victories and demonstrations, realizing that humans could no longer be dismissed. The council offered recognition, inviting Eli to demonstrate the warship before representatives from multiple star systems. Eli accepted. He knew this was an opportunity not for himself but for humanity. The demonstration took place in a massive neutral arena, where alien observers from dozens of species gathered. The warship performed flawlessly, navigating obstacle courses, completing strategic challenges, and demonstrating advanced combat techniques. The audience watched in stunned silence as the human pilot executed maneuvers that defied expectation. They had seen advanced ships and elite pilots, but none had demonstrated the combination of speed, precision, and creativity that Eli and his warship displayed. When the demonstration concluded, the crowd erupted in applause, silent for some, vocal for others, but unanimous in their admiration. Afterward, council representatives approached Eli. "Humans," one said, with a tone of respect, "we underestimated your species. You have shown skill, strategy, and ingenuity beyond what we imagined." Eli nodded humbly. "We learn, we adapt, and we make the impossible possible," he said. "That is what humans do." The warship, once rejected as too aggressive, had become legendary. Aliens began to study its design, trying to understand how a single human could control it so effectively. Traders offered alliances, scientists requested collaboration, and military leaders sought guidance. Eli had not only restored a ship, he had restored human prestige across the galaxy. Eli looked out of the cockpit, watching the stars stretch endlessly before him. He thought of the auction, the day he had acquired the ship against all odds. He thought of the countless hours of repairs, tests, and battles. Each challenge had been a step toward proving that humans could turn rejection into triumph. He realized that the warship was more than a tool. It was a symbol of human potential, creativity, and courage. The galaxy had doubted humans for too long, but now they had a reason to respect them. Eli decided that the story of the ship should continue. He planned missions to explore new systems, encounter unknown species, and face challenges that would further demonstrate human ingenuity. Each mission would not only test the ship, but also inspire others to believe in the capabilities of humanity. In time, humans across various star systems began to hear stories of the warship. Young engineers and pilots looked to Eli as a role model, learning that rejection was never the end, but an opportunity to innovate and improve. The warship became a legend, not for its size or power alone, but for the human who had mastered it. Eli's crew, now experienced and skilled, worked alongside him to continue improving the ship. They refined tactics, experimented with new technologies, and ensured that the warship remained at the forefront of innovation. Together, they demonstrated that humans were not only capable of brilliance but could inspire others across the galaxy to reach beyond their limits. As he prepared for another mission, Eli activated the engines, feeling the familiar hum of the ship beneath him. It was more than metal and energy. It was a living testament to human ingenuity. He smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning. Humans had earned respect, and the warship would continue to carry that legacy across the stars. The galaxy had once rejected the ship, labeling it dangerous and uncontrollable. Now it was celebrated as a masterpiece, a symbol of what humans could achieve. And Eli, the young human who had believed in the impossible, had become the proof that determination, creativity, and courage could change the way the galaxy saw an entire species. He whispered quietly to the ship, as if sharing a secret with a trusted friend. "We've come a long way, but this is just the start. There's still so much to discover, so much to do." The warship hummed in response, sleek, powerful, and alive. Together, human and machine would continue to explore the unknown, face challenges, and prove that the galaxy had underestimated humanity for far too long. And so, the rejected warship, now transformed into a symbol of human brilliance, sailed among the stars. Its legend grew with every mission, every encounter, and every story told across star systems. The galaxy would never forget that humans could take what others rejected, restore it, and make it extraordinary. Eli leaned back in the cockpit, eyes fixed on the endless expanse of space. He felt a sense of pride, not just for himself, but for humanity. The warship was more than a vessel, it was a promise that humans could rise above expectations, challenge limits, and make their mark among the stars. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, but Eli knew that no matter how vast the galaxy, humans would always find a way. And with this warship at his side, there was no challenge too great, no frontier too distant, and no obstacle they could not overcome. The legend of the human and the aggressive ship was complete. The galaxy had witnessed the transformation of the impossible into the extraordinary, and humanity, through determination, skill, and ingenuity, had earned a place among the stars that no one could ever ignore.